What's going on, everybody? It's Wednesday, March 6. Welcome back to FOXY Games UK. I'm Fox, your reliable source of aggregated video game news, speculation and rampant rumour. Here's a quick disclaimer. The following will not be an Xbox Microsoft bashing exercise. Sorry to disappoint you, but my only objective is to weigh up the pros, the cons and the cold hard facts about the Xbox One S All Digital Edition, comically dubbed sad. And yes, the truth will hurt some of you, but then it will set you free. It seems like there's a lot of narrative around Microsoft's Xbox brand at the moment, which is a good thing and a bad thing. Here's the full story. So Microsoft is reportedly set to call the discless Maverick console the Xbox One S All Digital Edition, with pre-orders aiming for mid-April 2019 and general availability from May 2019. It looks as though it could be near global simultaneous launch for almost all existing Xbox markets, according to WindowsCentral.com, with sources claiming Microsoft plans to release a discless Xbox, no physical media whatsoever. What some might call a bold move given the wildly unpopular always online 24-hour check-in system the Redmond firm had planned for its original Xbox One console, which launched back in 2013. Now fast forward some 6 years later and we're in 2019, but has the appetite of the discerning consumer changed? Initially reported by Brad Sams of Thorough.com, Microsoft has been experimenting with a discless Xbox One S, codename really Xbox Maverick, with a launch window expected to be around the first quarter of 2019. According to numerous sources, the discless Xbox One S model offers fans the ability to ditch discs altogether and go all in on digital game licenses, effectively meaning you no longer own a copy, just the right, the license if you will, to play it. Something that rears many concerns for would-be consumers, one of which being, can the license be revoked from the user and the consumer purchased digital copy of these games be removed? A rather pertinent question, one would think. Now, as Microsoft pushes for greater access to its game library via things like Xbox Game Pass digital subscriptions and the incoming streaming service Project X Cloud, dropping the disc drive from the All Digital Edition should make it the cheapest Xbox console yet. Although there's no word on official pricing strategy at the time of this report, one would imagine the price would have to be low enough, say around $150, in order to entice and incentivize the consumer into dropping physical media. Microsoft have clearly monitored the PC space, which went discless many years ago, and the company very likely has data to back up that perhaps a significant portion of Xbox users already purchase digitally. Now, it's not my intention to ascribe blame here, but Microsoft would not even attempt this all-digital move if it did not believe enough of their install base would subscribe to it. Additionally, Microsoft may be gearing up to announce a Fortnite Edition console of a custom Fortnite design rather than a simple game bundle. These are really some negatives going into all-digital, and losing the disc drive appears to be one of them, which limits the amount of 4K content you could consume on this Xbox, particularly outside of the US, where 4K digital video offerings are lacking compared to physical 4K Blu-ray discs. And you no longer own the game. You cannot trade a game without Microsoft's permission. The company may introduce digital trade-ins between users in the future, but the pre-owned market will no longer exist for users of this discless console. And the most worrying thing of all, if for whatever reason your account is terminated by Microsoft, you lose every single one of those digital purchases, since you'll be locked out of Xbox Live and its store. So you had better play nice and or hope a system error doesn't occur, locking you out of your games, for example Xbox Live going down. Now, you'll probably have to check in, sign in every once in a while so the system can check you're not doing anything it doesn't like. It is beginning to sound like the Matrix of video games, isn't it? Morpheus, Trinity, and free your mind, free your pixels, Neo. Plug into the system and give Microsoft totalitarian control over you as an Xbox consumer. Ladies and gentlemen, as the late great Christopher Hitchens might have said, the North Korea of video games, of a kind. Of course, that's the worst case scenario, and I jest. Well, no, not really. But Windows Central have highlighted really the preloading of games and the instant refunds via the Microsoft account page as benefits to going completely digital. But I would argue you can do all those things with your current OG Xbox One, Xbox One S and X models today. Hardly a benefit if you're already getting those features. Another benefit outlined is price, and the discless model will be cheap. Cheap is a word I absolutely loathe to the 9th degree. It suggests low or comparatively poorer quality. And let's be honest, quote-unquote cheap is not always cheerful. Quite the contrary. You get what you're prepared to pay for these days. And finally, and I myself fail to see it, but another benefit being touted is the transition or transfer of every single physical Xbox game disc you ever paid for, converting them into worthless to the consumer, and seemingly endless lines of game code. Put simply, and I must reiterate, you will no longer own your games, and you will be merely granted the license to play them. Though it is my intent to try and be as unbiased as I humanly can, so here are some positives about purchasing the cheaper discless all-digital Xbox One S. Now, I'm assuming you don't give a dry rot about physical ownership, so you'll enjoy Xbox Game Pass subscriptions and treat games as throwaway experiences. You'll be able to stay up to date with future next-gen Xbox Scarlet / Anaconda game releases because Project xCloud will be integral to the future of these all-digital devices, and the console, in theory, could be half the size of the already small, fully featured Xbox One S model due to the extra space afforded by not having a 4K Blu-ray drive included. And that's pretty much the only benefits I can see at this point. Whether or not the discless future will extend to the rumoured next-gen Xbox Anaconda and Lockhart Scarlet range consoles remains to be seen, but if the all-digital edition Xbox One S proves successful, it may tip Microsoft's hand and a few others. So here's the burning question. Would you be interested in a cheaper all-digital Xbox, which some are comically referring to as sad? And if this thing takes off, how would you feel about a discless PS4 or discless PS5 or all-digital Nintendo Switch model later down the line? I recall the many PS3 users pointing out the fact that they do not have to pay to access multiplayer, and while they were white knighting free online multiplayer gaming, Sony were patiently waiting to monetize it. You could argue, how could they not after the billions of ongoing revenue Microsoft's Xbox Live has made for the company? And you'd be right, but my point is, don't go ridiculing their Xbox fanbase. These things have a habit of making people look acutely foolish. Though with that being said, perhaps like me, you dabble as an occasional digital purchaser, particularly when the PlayStation or Xbox Store or eShop has a sale. And again, like me, you are fully committed to physically owning the day one, maybe first week, new game releases, and do not wish to be limited in how and when you are able to access the content that you paid for. This is a hot topic, bound to cause some contention, though do share your thoughts in the comments. And some news just in, perhaps this may persuade you. Xbox Game Pass is seemingly getting more attractive by the day. Longtime Xbox stalwart Larry Herb, aka Major Nelson, has confirmed via Twitter that there are more titles coming to Xbox Game Pass in March. Just Cause 4 is releasing on Game Pass already. The game literally just released to retail not too long ago. And Lego Batman 2 is available today, and 2 more titles are being added next week. Game Pass is getting far more attractive and better value for money. Let's see if they maintain the current price structure though, because if you're going to add more, eventually the price will have to be increased. And those of you who were concerned why they took Fallout away, well, remember that the service does add and detract games as well. You can't have it all at one time. But good news, Fallout appears to be back on the rotation list. And let's hope games like Injustice 2 and perhaps other titles that have released maybe early last year, mid last year, will make it to the system, the Game Pass system as well, the service. And before we go, here's a Twitter poll result. Basically, I ran a Twitter poll on really how important is native 4K, that's Ultra HD gaming, to you? PS5, Xbox Scarlet, PC. Now, 19% of you went for 4K/30 with high graphics, and 14% of you went 4K is a really wasted resource, with 27% of you going for 1080p 60 frames per second ultra high graphics, and a whopping 40% of you would settle on 1440p 60 frames per second high-end graphics. So that's the Twitter poll. Thank you to the 258 votes that were cast, and to everybody that took really part in that. Your data will be obviously very, very important going forward. So, do share your thoughts and opinions on today's news, because that unfortunately brings us to the end of another video, but let's continue the discussion in the comments. And for all your current and next gen news updates, rumour and rampant speculation, hit the like button, spread the word, and keep it locked to Foxy Games UK. Remember, relevant links where applicable can be found in this video's description, and subscribe to Foxy Games UK. Remember to hit the notification bell so you never miss content. Thumbs up if you like it here, and help us reach more like-minded gamers simply by sharing this video. Consider supporting Foxy Games UK via Patreon and or grab yourself a Foxy Games UK branded t-shirt or hoodie available in various colours and designs, and you'll find both links in this video's description. I really appreciate the support. So that concludes our time together on this wet Wednesday in the UK. It was great hanging out. Thank you for your viewership. Until the next video, always remember, play games, not corporations.